Hello, all my joyful creators, and welcome to Funday Monday, part 15 of the Longmire Blanket. We are going to go ahead and get started. Today we are going to be introducing 4 new colors, and Jen Reeves was our winner Friday night for Cup to Hook movie night, and she chose 2 of those colors. She chose color 6 and color 5, which for me on my chart, I'll show you. Color 6 is peach, and that's going to be the first color that we use. And then she chose color 5, which is going to be the last color, the 4th color that we use. Because for the second color and the 3rd color, she let 2 other players choose those colors. So for the second color we're going to use, she let Char-lee Berry choose that color, and Char-lee chose the color number 3, which on my chart is cherry red. And then for color number 3, she let Roseann Alexander choose, and that color that Roseann chose was color number 9, and on my chart it is black. So our first color will be peach, then red, then black, and then green. So let's go ahead and get started. We are going to go ahead and join our first color. As we get started on row 83, you do want to make sure that the front side of your work, the right side, is the side that is actually facing. So make sure that that is correct. And we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to work over my tails as I have been. This chain 2 that we did is going to count as our first stitch. So we're going to go right into the next stitch, and we're going to work a double crochet. We will be working double crochets all the way across the row, trying to work around those tails. And this is the first row of a special stitch that we are going to be working in this section. And it is called the floret stitch. And so for row 1 of what would be a repeat row, you'll just simply work double crochets all the way across the row. And I'm just going to work a couple more double crochets. Oops, I didn't get both loops on that one. So that I can secure these tails in. And that should be good enough. So I'm just going to go ahead and give those tails a little tug. And I've got quite a little bit left there, so I'm just going to work over them just a few more stitches. And that should be good enough. So I'm going to go ahead and trim off my tails. And if you'll go ahead and pause the video and work your double crochets all the way across the row, I will meet you at the end of row 83, and then I will tell you how to begin row 84, which will be the second row of the repeat pattern for the floret stitch. When you've reached the end of row 83, you should have a total of 158 double crochets. Again, this is the first row of a repeat pattern for the floret stitch. So we're going to go ahead and fasten off, and just gives ourselves a little bit of a tail there. And then we're going to go ahead and join our new color. And the next color that was chosen was by Char-lee, and it was number 3, which on my chart is the cherry red. So we're going to go ahead and join our color. So after you've joined your color, you need to chain 1 and turn your work. So go ahead and turn your work, and I will meet back with you after I get this blanket turned around. All right, this chain 1 is not going to count as a stitch. Okay, again, I'm going to work over my tails, so I've got them laid across here. And so this is row 84. You want to make sure that you have the wrong side or the back side of your work facing. And we're going to go ahead and get started with the second repeat row of the floret stitch. The floret stitch is only a repeat of 2 rows. So in this very first stitch, we are going to work a slip stitch. So you insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a stitch, and then you just pull that loop right through the loop that was already on the hook. And that is a slip stitch. Then into this very next stitch, you're going to work a double crochet. And into the next stitch, you're going to do another slip stitch. And then in the next stitch, you're going to work a double crochet. And in the next stitch, a slip stitch. And in the next stitch, a double crochet. And you're going to continue repeating this pattern of working a slip stitch and then a double crochet. And I'm just going to do a couple more here to secure in my tails. And then a double crochet. And let's just do 2 more, and that should be plenty. So 1 more slip stitch and a double crochet. And then I'm going to stop, and I'm going to give those tails a little bit of a tug. Make sure I have them firmly pulled. And go ahead and trim that excess. And then we're just going to continue going down the row, working a slip stitch and then a double crochet. And again, this is the second row of the repeat pattern for the floret stitch. So go ahead and continue working down the rest of row 84, doing the repeat pattern of the slip stitch and the double crochet. Pause the video and I will meet you at the end of this row. When you get to the end, you can go ahead and fasten off your work. We're going to go ahead and switch to the next color. And I'm going to go ahead and share that with you so that I can go ahead and have my blanket turned. So that will speed things up just a little bit. But our next color was chosen by Roseann Alexander. And she chose the color number 9. And on my list, that is black. So whatever your number 9 color is, when you get to the end of row 84, after repeating the slip stitch, double crochet, fasten off, join your black. You are going to chain 2 when you join and then turn your work, and I'll meet you back when you've gotten to that point. All right, so go ahead and pause the video and I'll meet you back where we agreed to meet back at. We have finished row 84, and as you can see, this gives this blanket a very nice texture going across. So you should have in the end 158 stitches going across in rotating multiples of slip stitch and double crochet. So for rows 85 and 86, we are just going to repeat the last two rows. So for row 85, we're going to do double crochets all the way across. Row 86, we're going to do slip stitch, double crochet, repeat. So we're going to repeat the floret stitch. So before we pause and do those two rows on our own, let's go ahead and work just a couple stitches on this row since we had the slip stitch and the half double crochets. Now again, I'm going to work over my tails. The chain 2 does count as our first double crochet. So that would have been above our slip stitch. So we're going to come right into the top of our double crochet from the row before and work our double crochet. And then we're going to come right here into the top of this slip stitch, okay, which is right between the double crochets. And that's where we'll work the next double crochet. And then we'll come right into the top of this double crochet here from the previous row. And then we'll come right into the top of this slip stitch right here. And I am going to bring the camera down a little bit closer so that you can see these stitches a little bit clearer. All right, so hopefully this is a little bit closer and you can see it a little bit better. All right, so we're going to work right into the top of this double crochet right here. And I know those tails are kind of in the way, but here is the space at the top of that double crochet, and we're just going to work our double crochet, and then our next one is going to go into the top of the slip stitch. So right here we're just going to work that double crochet, and again we're going to go right here into the top of this double crochet, and then right into the top of the slip stitch. And I feel like those tails are kind of in the way, so let me just work a couple so that I can go ahead and clip those tails and get them out of the way. So you can see better. Oops. And this will be the last one over the tails. All right, I moved my scissors so I don't have them right here, so I'm just going to tuck those behind. All right, so working into the top of this double crochet here, we're just going to go right into the top of it and work our double crochet. And then this is the top of our slip stitch, so we're going to go right there in the top of that slip stitch and work our double crochet, and then right into the top of the double crochet and then right into the top of the slip stitch. And so you are now going to just continue forward, repeating row 83 with this black, and then you'll fasten off and you'll repeat row 84 for row 86 using, for me, the green or whatever your number 5 color is. So go ahead and pause the video and finish working up rows 85 and 86, and I will meet back up with you at the end of those 2 rows. And you can see how that floret stitch is just popping out there. That's really pretty. Here we are at the end of row 85 and 86. Look at the texture that brings. That is just so gorgeous. I love that. Definitely has brought more dimension to the blanket. You can kind of see it even more there. All right, so in this section, we are going to add one more row, which will be row 87. And so I have gone ahead and attached that last color, and we are circling back around to color number 6 that we started with, the peach. And so whatever your number 6 color is that you began row 83 with is what you're going to finish off row 87 for this section of the Longmire blanket. And so I have gone ahead and attached my color, and I have chained 2 and turned my work. And so we are going, and that chain 2 is going to count as the first stitch. And so we are going to go ahead and work a double crochet right in the top of that slip stitch, just like we did on row 85. And I am working over my tails as well. And we are going to work double crochets down the entire row, and just like we did on row 85, you will work a double crochet in the top of the double crochets and in the top of the slip stitches. So go ahead and work a double crochet in each stitch down this row, and I will meet up with you at the end. Here we are at the end of the row, so we are just going to go ahead and fasten off our yarn. And take a look at what we have done today. This is just beautiful. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So there are the colors and the colorway for this segment. Again, thanks to Jen, Char-lee, and Roseann. And I think that is beautiful. This blanket just continues to delight me, and it has been such a joy to continue to create this, and just the vivid textures that have come from it, and it's just been fun. I am thoroughly enjoying this, and each week I am amazed and happy and surprised at just how well it's working up. It is just a beautiful blanket. And again, that's just a look again at what we've got. A little piece of fuzz there. So just continues to just work beautifully. And here we are again with today's. So be joyful, stay crafty in your own way, make your own joyful creations. Bye.